Kalara moved forward cautiously, taking the beacon from the human. The ancient device recognized her royal DNA and expanded in her hand, revealing its true form. The simple purple stone transformed, unfolding like a mechanical flower into a complex device with glowing symbols and floating components. Language was no barrier. As the beacon connected their minds, Sam suddenly understood everything. The princess and her people, their war, the desperate last stand. The beacon had sought out someone who could help someone with the right combination of curiosity, courage, and compassion. Through their mental link, Kalara understood Sam too. Her life on Earth, her studies, her dreams, her loss. Sam had lost her parents, just as Kalara had lost her royal family to the Drek. "We did not expect help from Earth," said Kalara, her voice now perfectly understandable to Sam. "We have observed your world but never interfered." Sam looked around at the command deck, the alien technology beyond anything humans had developed. The stars visible through the viewport were arranged in unfamiliar patterns. "I found your beacon while hiking," she explained. "It just looked like a strange purple rock. I had no idea." The ship rocked violently as another blast hit their shields. Commander Lireth rushed to a control panel. "Shields at 12%. Your Highness, we cannot withstand another direct hit." Sam felt the princess' desperation through their mental link. The Zith were losing a war against an enemy that showed no mercy. The Drek Dominion had already destroyed dozens of Zith worlds, killing billions. "The beacon did not bring you here by accident," said Kalara. "There must be a reason." Sam thought quickly, her mind racing. What could she possibly offer these advanced aliens? What did humans have that the Zith did not? Through their connection, Sam shared Earth knowledge, military history, guerrilla tactics, and most importantly, hope. The human spirit that refused to surrender against impossible odds. Earth has faced many wars, Sam explained. When a smaller force faces a larger one, we don't fight directly. We hide, we strike, we retreat, we survive. Kalara accessed the beacon network, sending commands to dormant defense systems scattered throughout the sector. Systems the Drek knew nothing about. The royal beacon was more than a communication device. It was a key to ancient weapons platforms hidden in asteroid fields, and nebulae on the main screen. Enemy ships suddenly exploded as hidden weapons platforms activated. Ancient Zith technology powered up, breaking through the Drek blockade. The Drek commander appeared on the communication screen. His insectoid face clicked mandibles in anger, demanding Kalara's surrender. The princess stood tall, the human Samantha beside her. "We do not surrender," she replied. "We fight." The command crew cheered as more Drek ships fell back. Sam felt strange pride seeing the alien princess transformed from defeat to defiance. Over the next days, Sam helped Kalara develop new strategies, combining Zith technology with human thinking. The princess was amazed at how humans thought outside conventional patterns, seeing opportunities where her people saw only obstacles. "Your species is young," said Kalara as they studied star maps together, "but you think in ways we have forgotten. The Zith Empire became too confident, too set in tradition. We stopped adapting." Sam learned quickly about Zith technology. The royal ship repaired its engines and moved deeper into the Sol system, hiding in Saturn's rings while making contact with scattered Zith-resistant cells. Word spread among the scattered Zith that the princess lived, that a human ally had brought hope. The resistance grew as ships answered their call. Kalara took Sam to the ship's library, a vast chamber where holographic displays showed the history of the Zith Empire, thousands of years of civilization achievements and discoveries. "This is what we fight to preserve," said the princess. "The Drek destroy everything they conquer. They strip planets of resources, enslave populations, and move on. They have no culture, only conquest." Sam understood what was at stake, not just the Zith, but potentially Earth too. If the Drek defeated the Zith, nothing would stand between them and humanity. "We need to warn Earth," said Sam. "My people need to prepare." Kalara shook her head. "Your world is not ready for this knowledge. The shock would cause panic. Your governments would fight among themselves instead of uniting. But we can help," argued Sam. "There are 7 billion humans on Earth. Some would fight for you. Commander Lyrath interrupted their discussion. Your Highness 3. Zith battlecruisers have answered our call. They will rendezvous with us behind the ringed planet, hope sparked. In Kalara's 4 silver eyes, 3 cruisers was not an armada, but it was a beginning. The beacon continued to activate more hidden defense platforms, weakening Drek supply lines and communication networks. The princess turned to Sam. I must ask something. Difficult of you. Will you stay and help us? Will you be our bridge to humanity? It was an impossible question. Sam had a life on Earth. Her younger brother depended on her. She had classes, responsibilities, plans. But she also held the fate of 2 civilizations in her hands. Through their mental link, Sam felt Kalara's respect. The princess did not demand sacrifice, she asked for alliance. I need to contact my brother, said Sam. I can't just disappear. He needs to know. I'm safe. Kalara nodded, understanding family, bonds. The beacon can send a message to Earth. It cannot transport your brother here, that would require too much energy. But he can know you are well. That night, Sam recorded a message for her brother Jake, explaining as best she could without revealing. Too much, I have an opportunity to do something important, she told him. Something that matters, I promise. I'll return. The next morning, 3 Zith cruisers emerged from hyperspace, joining Kalara's royal vessel. Their captains were shocked to find their princess alive and even more surprised to meet her human ally. We have been fighting small battles across 3 sectors, reported Captain Mavis, a veteran commander, but without coordination, the resistance has achieved little. Together they planned their first major offensive. The Drek had established a forward base in the Proxima Centauri system, the star closest to Earth. Their presence so near humanity sent chills through Sam. We strike there first, said Kalara. We will not let them threaten. Another world. Sam studied the Drek formation, seeing a pattern the aliens had missed. The enemy ships always maintained specific distances, perfect spacing by Drek tactical doctrine. They value order. She explained. They follow patterns. If we disrupt those patterns, they become confused. Captain Mavis looked skeptical. How can you know this, human? Sam pointed to historical battle records. The Drek always attack in perfect geometric formations. They retreat the same way, their minds work differently. From ours, from yours, they can't handle chaos. A slow smile spread across Kalara's face. Then we shall give them chaos. The sky burned orange as the invasion fleet surrounded the last royal ship of the Zith Empire. Princess Kalara stood frozen at the viewing window, her 4 silver eyes reflecting the enemy vessels closing in. Her once mighty armada now reduced to a single cruiser and a handful of loyal guards. She knew what came next. Surrender or death. Kalara had fought bravely for 3 cycles since the Drek Dominion began their conquest. Her people scattered across the stars, many seeking refuge on distant planets, including the small blue world called Earth, a planet the Zith had monitored but never contacted. The princess touched the royal emblem on her chest, a symbol of leadership that now felt heavy with failure. Commander Lyrath approached and bowed her head. The Drek flagship demands our surrender, Your Highness. They offer terms. What terms? Asked Kalara, though she already knew the answer. Your life in exchange for the surrender codes to our colony worlds and the location of all refugees. The end of the royal line, but our remaining crew would be spared. Kalara turned from the window, her tall, slender frame casting a long shadow. The scales along her arms shimmered with a dull blue light, reflecting her somber mood. She had been born to rule, to protect her people, not to surrender them. But what choice remained? Send no response yet. She ordered. I need time was the one thing they did not have. The ship's engines were damaged, weapons nearly depleted, shields failing. Their last jump had brought them to the edge of the Sol system, far from any allies but also temporarily hidden behind the gas giant. The humans called Jupiter Kalara retreated to her private chamber, where ancient artifacts of the Zith royal house lined the walls, weapons, artwork, and technological wonders from 1,000 years of rule. Among them sat a small empty pedestal, where the royal beacon had once rested. The most powerful tool of her ancestors, lost in the first great battle against the Drek. If only we still had the beacon, she whispered. running her six-fingered hand over the empty space. The device could activate hidden defense networks scattered throughout Zith territory. Networks even the royal family had forgotten the locations of across the galaxy on Earth. Samantha Miller hurried across the university campus late for her astronomy class again. The 22-year-old student juggled coffee books and the small, strange device she had found last week while hiking in the mountains, near her home. The object resembled a smooth purple stone with intricate patterns that glowed faintly at night. Sam had meant to show it to her professor but kept forgetting. Between her job at the campus library and caring for her younger brother, after their parents died, she barely had time to sleep. "Professor Allen will kill me," Sam muttered as she rushed past the science building, suddenly feeling the device grow warm in her pocket. She pulled it out, startled to see it pulsing with bright light. Without warning, the stone projected a holographic star map into the air around her. Students walking nearby stopped and stared, pointing and taking videos with their phones. Sam recognized many constellations from her studies, but there were strange markings she had never seen, symbols and lines connecting certain star systems. And at the center, one star flashed urgently, on impulse. Sam touched the flashing star and the world dissolved around her. A sensation like falling through water enveloped her, and then she stood disoriented in a metal corridor bathed in red emergency lighting. Alarms blared and strange voices shouted in a language she could not understand. Sam pressed herself against a wall as armored figures ran past. They looked almost human except for their silver eyes, scale-like skin, and 6 fingers on each hand. The stone in her hand now glowed steadily, pulsing like a heartbeat. This can't be happening. Sam thought, her heart racing. This can't be real. But the cool, metal wall against her back felt real. The strange smells of ozone and unfamiliar chemicals felt real. The device in her hand definitely felt real. Burning with energy. Following some instinct, Sam moved down the corridor, away from the sounds of conflict. The stone grew brighter as she approached a sealed doorway. Its surface was covered with symbols similar to those in the holographic map on the command deck. Princess Kalara prepared to enter the surrender code that would open their shields to the Drek. The ship rocked with another impact. Her guards looked to her with loyalty and fear in their eyes. "Your Highness, we cannot surrender," said Commander Lyrath. "The Drek will not honor any terms. They will execute us all and hunt down every Zith in the galaxy." Kalara knew this was true. But what alternative remained? The royal beacon was lost. Their weapons depleted. Their allies scattered or defeated. "I must think of our people, Lyrath. Not just those on this ship, but all Zith across the stars. Perhaps by surrendering myself." Suddenly the door to the command deck slid open, and a strange creature stood there. A being with pale skin, 2 eyes and strange coverings. Kalara recognized the species from intelligence reports. An Earthling, a human. "How did a human get aboard our vessel?" demanded Lyrath, raising her weapon. Before anyone could react, the human stepped forward, holding out a glowing object. Kalara gasped, recognizing the unmistakable energy signature of the royal beacon, a device lost during their first defeat against the Drek. The human looked terrified, confused, but also determined. She held out the beacon toward Kalara, as if somehow knowing it belonged to her. Kalara moved forward slowly, her eyes fixed on the beacon. How had this human obtained it? How had it brought her here across light years of space? The ship shuddered around them as another blast from the Drek fleet hit their failing shields. "Lower your weapon," Lyrath ordered the princess. "The beacon has found us a savior." The human girl looked around at the alien faces surrounding her. The strange technology, the view of space through the command deck windows. She clutched the glowing stone like a lifeline. "My name is Samantha," she said, though she knew they couldn't understand. "I think this belongs to you." The battle for Proxima Centauri began at dawn ship time. Kalara's small fleet of 4 vessels approached the system from different vectors, using Sam's strategy of unpredictable movements. 20 Drek warships protected their new base, their perfect formation unchanged for days. The Zith had always approached battle with honor, direct confrontation, clear lines of engagement. The Drek expected this, and had consistently defeated them. But today would be different. Sam stood on the command deck beside Princess Kalara watching tactical displays. Her heart pounded with fear and excitement. The fate of two worlds rested on her ideas, her human perspective. Remember the lessons of Earth history, she said. Guerrilla warfare, hit and fade attack where they least expect it. Kalara nodded and gave the command to deploy the drones. Hundreds of small unmanned craft launched from the Zith vessels. Each carried minimal weapons but projected energy signatures identical to larger ships, creating false targets across the battlefield. The Drek responded predictably, shifting their perfect formation to engage what they believed was a major fleet. Their precision became their weakness as they spread thin, chasing phantoms. Now ordered Kalara. The 4 real Zith vessels attacked from unexpected angles, firing precisely at weak points in Drek shields Sam had identified. The enemy formation broke apart as ships turned to defend against attacks coming from multiple directions. "It's working," exclaimed Commander Lirath, watching the Drek scramble to reorganize. "We have disabled their command ship," reported Captain Mavis, his voice triumphant. Sam pointed to a new pattern forming on the tactical display. "They adapt quickly. They are reforming around a secondary command." Vessel Kalara studied the display through her 4 silver eyes, her tactical mind building on Sam's observation. "Continue Phase 2, she ordered. The Zith ships launched their second surprise gravity mines, deployed in seemingly random patterns, but carefully calculated by Sam to disrupt Drek movements. The enemy vessels suddenly found themselves pulled off course, their perfect formations impossible to maintain. Through the mental link provided by the royal beacon, Sam could feel the confusion of the Drek commanders. Their rigid minds struggled with chaos, their perfect order shattered by human unpredictability. "We have an opening to the base," said Lyrath, pointing to a gap in the Drek defense line. Kalara gave the order, "Full thrust to the base. Deploy boarding teams." The royal cruiser accelerated through the gap while the other Zith vessels continued to harass the Drek fleet. The princess turned to Samwell. "You join the boarding party. Your human perspective may prove valuable again." Sam hesitated. She was no soldier. She had never even fired a weapon, but she nodded. The beacon connected her mind to Kalara and the Zith soldiers, sharing combat training and tactical knowledge instantaneously. 30 minutes later, Sam found herself in Zith battle, armor running down the corridors of the Drek forward base. The alien structure was different from the Zith ship, all hard angles and sharp edges like an insect hive made of metal. The Zith strike team moved with practiced precision. Commander Lirath, leading with Kalara and Sam protected in the center. Their mission was simple: secure the command center and access the Drek battle plans. Drek defenders appeared at a junction, their insectoid bodies moving with unnatural speed. Weapons fire erupted. Around them, Sam ducked behind a barrier, her heart racing. The mental link with Kalara kept her focused. Prevented panic, Sam noticed something about the Drek movements. They followed established patterns even in close combat. They always fired in the same sequence, always took cover in predictable ways. They can't think independently, she realized through the mental link. They follow programming even as individuals. This insight spread to the Zith soldiers, who adjusted their tactics, firing not where the Drek were but where they would move next, anticipating their programmed responses. The defenders fell quickly, their predictability, their downfall. The team reached the command center, securing it with minimal casualties. Sam helped Kalara access the Drek computer systems. The information they found confirmed their worst fears. The Drek were not just conquering this sector. They were preparing for a massive expansion, including an invasion of Earth within 1 standard year. Kalara downloaded the battle plans while Sam examined the Drek technology. Their ships, their weapons, all designed for efficiency, but lacking innovation. The Drek were powerful, but rigid. They could be beaten by an enemy they couldn't predict. The team fought their way back to the shuttle as the base self-destruct sequence activated. Their mission complete, they returned to the royal cruiser as the Drek base exploded behind them. In the aftermath of the battle, the 4 Zith vessels regrouped. 7 Drek ships had been destroyed, 5 disabled, and the rest had retreated. A major victory, but the war had only begun. Kalara called her commanders together with Sam to review the captured battle plans. The Drek Dominion controlled over 50 star systems with hundreds of warships. Their resources far outmatched the remaining Zith forces. "We cannot win by conventional means," said Captain Mavis, studying the enemy deployment. "We need allies." Sam thought of Earth. But human technology was primitive compared to both Zith and Drek humanity would be slaughtered if drawn into this war. "We need more than allies," said Sam. "We need to change how we fight. Hit their supply lines, disrupt their communication networks, make them waste resources." Chasing shadows, Kalara nodded. Then, passed the royal beacon to Sam, enhancing their mental connection. Together, they began planning a new kind of war. Over the next weeks, their small fleet grew as more Zith vessels answered the call of their Princess. Kalara shared Sam's strategies with each new commander, teaching them to fight unpredictably, to use human tactics against the rigid Drek. Their first major target was a Drek communication hub. 3 Zith cruisers attacked head-on, drawing attention, while Kalara's royal ship and 2 smaller vessels approached from behind a nearby moon. Their surprise attack destroyed the hub, isolating an entire Drek battle group from Central Command. Their second target was a supply depot Sam had identified as critical for the planned Earth invasion. Without specific resources, the invasion would be delayed, giving them time to build their forces. As victories mounted, word spread across the sector. The princess lived and fought alongside a human ally who brought new ways of thinking, new strategies. The resistance grew stronger with each success. Sam found herself changing too, learning Zith technology, language, culture. She still missed her brother, but through the royal beacon, she sent him regular messages. Kalara had arranged for funds to be transferred to an Earth account, ensuring Jake would be cared for in her absence. One evening after a successful raid, Sam found Kalara alone in the ship's observatory. The princess stood before a holographic display of the galaxy, her 4 silver eyes reflecting the stars. "You have given us hope." "Samantha," said Kalara. "Without you, I would have surrendered. My people would be facing extinction." Sam stood beside her, looking at the vast galaxy. Before finding the beacon, her world had seemed so large. Now she understood how small it was, how vulnerable. Earth still doesn't know what's coming. She said, "They have no idea about the Drek, about the war." Kalara turned to her. "I have been thinking about this. Your world deserves to know, to prepare. But we must approach carefully." Together they developed a plan. Sam would return to Earth not permanently, but as an ambassador. She would make contact with specific government officials, sharing limited technology and knowledge, preparing humanity for what lay ahead. But first they had one more major battle to fight. The Drek had established a forward command center in the Tau Ceti system. This base coordinated all operations in the sector, including the planned Earth invasion. "If we destroy this base," said Kalara, "we buy Earth at least 2 cycles to prepare, and we cripple Drek operations throughout the region." The Zith fleet had grown to 20 vessels, still outnumbered by the Drek, but now experienced in Sam's unconventional tactics. The royal beacon had activated defense platforms throughout the sector, further strengthening their position. Captain Mavis approached with the latest intelligence reports. "The base is heavily defended, Your Highness. 50 Drek warships and planetary defenses. Cannot approach directly." Kalara looked to Sam, who studied the tactical display. Her mind raced with possibilities drawn from Earth history. "What if we don't need to destroy the base?" she said slowly. "What if we just need to make them abandon it?" Sam's plan for Tau Ceti was bold. Drawing on Earth history, she proposed not a direct assault but psychological warfare. The Drek communicated through a network that could be hacked with Zith technology. The plan had 3 phases. First, sabotage teams would infiltrate the outer perimeter of the system, planting modified beacons that mimicked Drek distress signals. Second, their fleet would create the appearance of a much larger force using drone ships and sensor ghosts. And third, they would broadcast false orders across Drek channels, creating confusion in their rigid command structure. "We will make them defeat themselves," Sam explained. Kalara approved the plan, trusting her human allies. Unconventional thinking. Commander Lirith would lead the sabotage teams while Captain Mavis coordinated the Ghost Fleet. 3 days later, the operation began. Lirith and her team slipped through Drek patrols and stealth shuttles, placing the modified beacons at key points throughout the system. Each beacon contained a fragment of Drek communication code captured in previous battles. Sam worked with Zith engineers to craft the perfect messages that would trigger the Drek's programmed responses without raising suspicion. Your understanding of their psychology is remarkable, said the lead engineer as they tested the beacons. How do you anticipate their reactions so accurately? Sam smiled. Humans have fought against rigid thinking for centuries. The Drek remind me of some military forces from Earth history, who couldn't adapt to changing circumstances. They follow rules even when rules fail them. When all beacons were placed, Kalara gave the signal. The devices activated simultaneously, flooding Drek channels with contradictory orders, emergency alerts, and false reports of massive Zith fleets approaching from multiple vectors. The Drek response was immediate and predictable. Ships moved to defensive positions exactly as Sam had anticipated, leaving gaps in their coverage. Through these gaps, Kalara's fleet deployed thousands of drone ships, each projecting energy signatures of larger vessels. On the command deck, Sam watched the tactical display as confusion spread through the Drek fleet. Ships changed course following false orders. Some fired on sensor ghosts, others pursued non-existent threats. The perfect Drek formation dissolved into chaos. Now, said Kalara, their real ships advanced through the confusion, targeting communication arrays and command vessels. The Drek unable to coordinate. Their response suffered heavy losses, without the Zith firing a single shot in some sectors. Within hours, the mighty Drek defense fleet had scattered some ships fleeing the system, others disabled by friendly fire. The command center, believing itself surrounded by overwhelming forces, initiated evacuation protocols. We did it, whispered Sam, watching the Drek commander's ship flee the system, leaving their base vulnerable. Kalara placed a six-fingered hand on Sam's shoulder. The battle is won, thanks to your strategy. The Drek will need months to reorganize their forces. Earth is temporarily safe. The Zith fleet secured the abandoned base, capturing intact Drek technology and intelligence. The information they found was more valuable than the base itself. Complete deployment plans for the entire sector, including details of the Earth invasion force. After the victory celebration, Sam found herself in the royal quarters with Princess Kalara. The princess had called a private meeting to discuss next steps. You know what comes next, said Kalara. Sitting across from Sam in the dimly lit chamber, Sam nodded. I need to return to Earth, to warn them, to help them. Prepare. Kalara activated a holographic display showing the Sol system, Earth a small blue dot among the stars. So beautiful, she said. So vulnerable. The Drek will regroup. They will not abandon their plans to conquer your world through their mental link maintained by the royal beacon. Sam felt Kalara's concern. The princess had grown to care deeply for humans, for Earth, seeing in them hope for her own people's future. I will go as the first official Zith ambassador, said Sam. My government will think him crazy at first, but the technology you can share will prove my story. Kalara handed Sam a small data crystal. This contains defensive shield designs, power generation technology, and medical advances. Nothing that could be weaponized, but enough to convince your leaders of our good intentions. Sam took the crystal. You'll need to reach someone, high in government, someone who will listen. The royal beacon can place you directly in a secure location, said Kalara. But you must choose carefully. The knowledge you bring could cause panic if revealed too quickly. They spent days preparing, selecting the right human officials, drafting messages that would be believed, planning the careful introduction of Zith technology. Sam recorded everything she had learned about the Drek, their weaknesses, their methods, their plans, on her final night aboard the royal cruiser. Sam stood in the observatory watching the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, her home that now seemed so distant, not just in space, but in perspective. She had changed her understanding of the universe, transformed. Commander Lyrath joined her. The ships are ready for your return mission, she said. We will escort you to the edge of your solar system, then activate the royal beacon to transport you directly to Earth. Sam turned to the commander. Thank you for trusting me, for giving me a chance to help. Lirith had been skeptical of the human at first, but now bowed with deep respect. You have taught us to think differently. Samantha Miller. Your name will be remembered in Zith history. The next morning, the Royal Fleet set course. For the Sol system, 6 cruisers would ensure Sam's safe return, while the others continued to harass Drek forces throughout the sector. Kalara insisted on leading the escort herself as they approached Earth. Sam prepared for her mission. She would appear in a secure military facility with the Royal Beacon and the data crystal technology that would change humanity's future, but the Drek had anticipated their move. 3 hours from Earth, long-range sensors detected a massive Drek battle group waiting in ambush. 30 warships positioned to intercept them. They knew, said Captain Mavis, his voice grim. They predicted our movements. Kalara studied the tactical display. They are learning, adapting to our methods. We cannot break through such. A force. Sam felt despair rise within her. So close to Earth, yet unable to reach it, unable to deliver her warning. The Drek would delay them long enough to bring in reinforcements, trapping the Zith fleet. Then she noticed something about the Drek formation. It was perfect, too perfect. Each ship exactly where tactical doctrine dictated. They think they understand us now, she said to Kalara. They believe we will use the same tricks, but they still think in patterns. The princess turned to Sam, her 4 silver eyes questioning. What do you see that I do not? Sam pointed to the display. They expect us to use drones and decoys again, to use stealth and misdirection. But what if we do exactly what the ancient Zith would have done? A direct frontal assault. No tricks. No subtlety. Kalara looked shocked. Such an attack would be suicide. Sam shook her head. Sometimes the most unexpected tactic is the most obvious one. They are prepared for human cunning, not Zith courage. The princess considered this, then slowly nodded. Order all ships to battle formation, direct approach, all power to forward shields. No drones, no deception. Captain Mavis protested. Your Highness, we cannot win a direct confrontation. We do not need to win, said Kalara, looking at Sam. We only need to create an opening. Sam and Kalara finalized the plan. The Zith fleet would charge directly at the Drek center, creating a moment of confusion when the enemy realized this was not another trick. In that moment, the royal cruiser would break formation, accelerating to maximum speed straight toward Earth. It was dangerous. The royal cruiser would be exposed vulnerable, but the Drek would hesitate momentarily, unable to believe the Zith would sacrifice their princess as they prepared for battle. Kalara took Sam aside. We may not both survive this, she said, but one of us must reach Earth. The royal beacon must be delivered. Sam understood the implication. One of them would need to stay behind to ensure the others escape. I should be the one to go back, said Sam. It's my world, my people. Kalara shook her head. Your knowledge of the Drek, your understanding of their psychology is too valuable to the resistance. If I fall, you must continue to lead my people. Before Sam could protest, the alarm sounded. The Drek had detected their approach and were moving to intercept. Princess, said Commander Lirith, we must decide now. Kalara looked at Sam one last time, then made her decision. The royal cruiser will proceed to Earth under my command. Samantha will transfer to Captain Mavis' ship and continue to lead the resistance if we fall. Sam wanted to argue, but understood the logic. The princess was a symbol, a leader. Her presence on Earth would carry more weight than a human student. The year transfer was quick. Sam moving to Mavis' cruiser while final preparations were made. The royal beacon remained with Kalara, essential for her mission to Earth. The last thing Sam saw before the ships separated was Princess Kalara standing tall on her command deck, ready to face whatever came. Then the Zith fleet accelerated toward the waiting Drek armada, and the battle for Earth began. The Zith fleet charged directly at the Drek blockade, a maneuver so traditional, so expected, that it caught the enemy completely by surprise. The Drek had prepared for tricks, deception, and human cunning. They had not prepared for a direct assault. Sam watched from Captain Mavis' bridge as the 6 Zith cruisers accelerated toward the enemy, their forward shields at maximum power. The Drek held position momentarily confused by the straightforward attack. That hesitation was all they needed. While 5 Zith ships engaged the center of the Drek formation, Kalara's royal cruiser suddenly veered off on a different vector, accelerating to maximum speed. The princess had plotted a course that would take her through a narrow gap in the enemy line, directly toward Earth. The Drek commanders realized too late what was happening. By the time they redirected their forces to pursue the royal cruiser, Kalara had already broken through their formation. Mavis' ship rocked under enemy fire. Sam held onto a console as alarms blared around her. The Zith were outnumbered 5-1 but fought with newfound determination. The captains implemented human tactics, changing speeds and attack vectors unpredictably, keeping the Drek off balance on the main screen. Sam watched as the royal cruiser pulled away from the battle, streaking toward Earth. She felt both hope and fear. Would Kalara reach the planet safely? Would Earth leaders listen to an alien princess? Royal cruiser has cleared the engagement. Zone reported a Zith officer estimated arrival at Earth in 17 minutes. Now came the most dangerous part of their plan, keeping the Drek occupied long enough for Kalara to complete her mission. Shields at 30%. Captain announced another. Officer 2 engines damaged. We cannot sustain this battle. Sam studied the tactical display, noticing a pattern in the Drek pursuit. Ships breaking off from the main battle, moving to follow the royal cruiser. They are splitting their forces, she realized. Captain, target this group here. She pointed to a cluster of Drek ships changing formation. If we can disrupt their pursuit ships, Kalara has a better chance. Mavis nodded, giving the orders. Despite heavy damage, his cruiser and 3 others managed to engage the pursuit force, buying precious minutes for the princess. The remaining Zith vessel, already critically damaged, initiated a ramming maneuver against the Drek flagship. Sam watched in awe as the brave Zith crew sacrificed themselves. Explosion disabled the Drek command ship, throwing the enemy into momentary confusion. On Earth, in the secure facility known as Area 51, alarms sounded as sensors detected the approaching alien vessel. Military personnel scrambled. Fighter jets were launched and nuclear weapons prepared for launch. A full-scale alien invasion appeared imminent. Inside the royal cruiser, Princess Kalara prepared for arrival. The ship was damaged, trailing plasma from a ruptured engine. Her crew worked frantically to maintain shields as Earth defense systems targeted them. We come in peace. Kalara broadcast on all frequencies. We seek alliance against a common enemy. Please respond. Her message went unanswered as Earth military forces moved into defensive positions. Royal beacon glowed in Kalara's hand. She had one chance to convince the humans of her peaceful intentions. She would use the beacon to transport herself directly into the Pentagon, the heart of American military power. A dangerous move that would leave her completely vulnerable, but the only way to prevent a war between their species. Back in space, Sam and Captain Mavis fought a desperate battle against overwhelming odds. 3 Zith cruisers remained against 23 Drek warships. The only advantage they had was the confusion caused by the unexpected tactics. Sam felt a sudden connection through the royal beacon. Kalara, reaching out across the distance. For a brief moment their minds touched, sharing determination, hope, and a promise. She made it, whispered Sam, feeling the princess activate the beacon. On Earth, military leaders gathered in the Pentagon Situation Room, receiving reports of the alien vessel approaching orbit. Radar operators tracked its descent, confusion spreading as the ship made no aggressive moves despite having technology far beyond Earth's defenses. Then a brilliant light filled the room, causing security personnel to draw weapons. As the light faded, a tall alien figure stood before them. Princess Kalara, her 4 silver eyes scanning the shocked human faces. The humans stared in disbelief at the alien in their most secure facility. Some reached for weapons, others for communication devices. Kalara raised her empty hands in the universal gesture of peace. I am Princess Kalara of the Zith Empire, she said in perfect English thanks to the beacon's translation capabilities. I come with warning and an offer of alliance. Earth faces annihilation if we do not stand together. She placed the royal beacon on the table before them. It projected a holographic display showing the Drek Armada, the battle plans for Earth invasion, and the defensive technology the Zith offered to share in space. The battle continued. Sam had taken command after Captain Mavis was injured. Her human tactics keeping the remaining Zith ships alive against impossible odds. Through the mental link she felt Kalaris progressed the initial fear of the humans turning to cautious interest as the princess shared knowledge of the Drek threat. Then Sam felt something else. A new presence in their mental link, a human mind joining the connection on Earth. A military general touched the royal beacon, establishing contact with both Kalara and, distantly, with Sam. His mind filled with understanding of the greater conflict, the Drek threat, and the sacrifices being made in space to protect Earth. He turned to his colleagues. She speaks the truth. The Zith are fighting to protect us from an invasion. We must help them. Within minutes, Earth Defense Forces changed priority. Instead of targeting the damaged royal cruiser, they prepared to engage the Drek pursuit ships now entering the solar system. Fighter jets scrambled not against Kalara, but against the first Drek scouts. Experimental weapons developed in secret activated targeting the enemy vessels in space. Sam felt the change through the mental link. Earth was responding. The humans had accepted Kalara's warning. The Zith were no longer alone. Sam directed the remaining cruisers to fall back toward Earth where they could combine forces with human defenses. The Drek, unused to changing battlefield conditions, hesitated again, giving the damaged Zith ships time to retreat. 3 hours later, Sam stood in the Pentagon Situation Room reunited with Princess Kalara Earth. Military leaders gathered around them examining Zith technology and Drek battle plans. The President of the United States entered the room, security personnel flanking her. She approached Kalara and Sam with cautious respect. You have given us much to consider, Princess Kalara. Your warning and your technology will help us prepare. But this alliance you propose requires trust on both sides. Sam stepped forward. Madam President, I am Samantha Miller, an American citizen. I have fought alongside the Zith, witnessed their sacrifice. I can vouch for their honor. The President studied Sam carefully. You understand, we must move carefully. A full alliance with an alien civilization must be approached with deliberation. Kalara nodded. I ask only that you prepare your defenses. The Drek will return in greater numbers. We have bought time, nothing more. In the days that followed, Earth governments united in unprecedented cooperation. Zith technology integrated with human innovation, created new defensive systems. Kalara established an embassy in neutral territory, while Sam served as liaison between species. The royal beacon became the symbol of their alliance, its ancient technology connecting the minds of human and Zith leaders, facilitating understanding beyond mere words. 1 month after her arrival, Kalara stood with Sam on the observation deck of the new Joint Command Center, watching Earth ships train alongside Zith cruisers. You saved my people twice, said the princess. First when you brought the beacon to my ship, and again when you helped forge this alliance. Sam smiled. The Drek believe themselves superior because they think only in one way. Both humans and Zith have learned to think differently, to adapt. That is what will defeat them. Kalara turned her 4 silver eyes toward the stars. The Drek are regrouping. They will come with a larger force next time, but they will find not a vulnerable world, but a united defense. Sam nodded, feeling both fear and determination. The war had only begun, but Earth now stood with the Zith Empire. Together they would face whatever came. Humanity had joined the galactic community, not as conquerors or victims, but as allies, bringing their unique perspective to a conflict that threatened all free species. On the command table, the royal beacon glowed with steady light, its ancient power no longer just a weapon, but a bridge between worlds, between a princess who had been ready to surrender and a human student who had shown her another way. The Drek would return. Battles would be fought, sacrifices made, but the alliance of human unpredictability and Zith technology created something new, something neither species could have achieved alone. And somewhere in the darkness, between stars, the Drek Dominion faced an enemy they had never anticipated. Beings who thought beyond patterns, who embraced chaos and found strength in difference. The greatest weapon against their perfect order was not a ship or a beam, but an idea, a human idea that defeat was never the only option. that surrender was never the only choice, that together different species could stand against any threat. The royal beacon pulsed as if in agreement, its light reaching across the command center, illuminating human and Sith faces alike united in common purpose. The battle for the stars had begun, and humanity had found its place among them.